Between the haunted houses and urban legends, there are plenty of things to be afraid of on Halloween night. But what happens when those fears become a reality? From horrifying home invasions to ghostly encounters, here are some of the scariest real-life horror stories that happened on Halloween. Before we begin, comment down below if you dare. How many of these you can get right in 15 seconds? For those of you that didn't know, there are over 3,000 unsolved mysteries that have occurred on Halloween night. That is a lot of scary stories. And today we're going to go through some of the most spine-chilling ones. So turn off the lights and get ready to scream. We often hear about ghosts during this holiday, but this next story takes the cake. A young woman named Jessica was spending Halloween night with her friends when they decided to visit an allegedly haunted house. While trick-or-treating in the neighborhood, they heard strange noises coming from inside the creepy abode. Naturally, they were hesitant to enter, but their curiosity got the best of them, and they opened the front door. To their surprise, they found a ghostly white figure standing in the living room. Jessica described it as a translucent hand-like thing. Then just as suddenly as it appeared, the apparition vanished. As they explored further, they realized they weren't alone. They began hearing footsteps and disembodied voices throughout the house. They ran outside and called the police, who discovered a skeleton in the backyard. Jessica later explained that she believed they had stumbled upon the ghost of a former owner who had died in the house years ago. This next story involves a terrifying home invasion. On Halloween night in 2007, a group of teenagers decided to play a prank on some unsuspecting partygoers. They dressed up as drug dealers and went door to door offering candy laced with marijuana. What they didn't realize was that one of the houses they visited belonged to a gang member. When the homeowner realized the next morning that his Halloween candy had been tampered with, he contacted the police. The gang member then assembled a search party to find the culprits. The teens were eventually located and arrested. But this goes to show that it's probably best not to play pranks on strangers, especially if they belong to a gang. You never know who's behind that mask. For this next story, we head over to England where a man named Gary lured his ex-girlfriend to a graveyard under the pretense of trick-or-treating. He told her that he wanted to show her a haunted house. However, once they arrived at the cemetery, Gary revealed his true intentions. He attacked his ex with a hammer, killing her instantly. He then tried to dispose of her body in a nearby lake, but was unsuccessful. Gary was later caught and sentenced to life in prison for his crime. This goes to show that even seemingly innocent plans can go horribly wrong. Don't trust anyone who invites you to a graveyard, no matter how good-looking they are. In another story from across the pond, a group of teenagers decided to play a prank on some younger kids by hiding in a cemetery and jumping out at them as they passed by. However, one of the teenagers was not who he appeared to be. A manhunt was launched after the real killer was caught and the teenagers returned home. It was discovered that one of them was actually a murder suspect wanted for a crime in Canada. Talk about a Halloween horror story twist. Some say the scariest monsters are the ones that walk among us. That was certainly the case for one group of trick-or-treaters who were approached by a man dressed as a clown. He offered them candy, but when they looked inside the bag, they found something horrifying. Instead of sweets, the bag contained razor blades and an anti-Semitic note. The man was later identified as a neo-Nazi, and police were able to catch him thanks to a witness who saw the entire incident unfold. From one extreme to the next, this next story involves a group of college students who were dared to approach a house known for its elaborate Halloween decorations. The students were so terrified by what they saw that they fled without getting any candy. One of the students later admitted that they had seen things that would haunt their nightmares forever. For our final story, we head back to the United States, where a group of friends decided to spend Halloween night telling ghost stories around a bonfire. They had heard that the local park was haunted, and they wanted to investigate. As they were sharing stories, they noticed a strange mist rolling in from the nearby lake. At first, they thought nothing of it. But as the night wore on, the mist began to take on a sinister shape. It looked like a giant, ghastly figure standing over them. The friends were so frightened that they packed up and left immediately. They never looked back to see what was in the mist, but they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Halloween is a time for dressing up and pretending to be someone or something else. But sometimes the line between fiction and reality can become blurred. From ghostly apparitions to sinister strangers, these Halloween night stories are sure to give you goosebumps. Remember to stay vigilant and keep your wits about you this Halloween. You never know what you might encounter. Now it's time for you to play a part in this spooky spectacle. Tell us about the most frightening Halloween experience you've ever had. Or if you're feeling brave enough, share your encounter with us in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. But if you want to hear more terrifying stories, be sure to check out these videos. Until next time, happy haunting!